African Showcase this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, is a story about taking something that is uniquely African to the world. It is a story about a South African founder-run tech business that's gone onto the global stage. It's my pleasure to welcome Samantha Pokroy, founder and CEO of Sonari Capital, and Nadia Nilsson, the CEO of LightWare LiDAR, as they come together to share this particular showcase. Technical team, 20 minutes on the clock, please. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Hello, everyone.
I am Sam Pokroy.
And I'm Nadia Nilsson.
And we're going to take you through a little story today. We are talking about going on 5-year journey together. So we're going to share some reflections and war stories a little bit. But first, just a little bit of an introduction. So Sonari Capital is a growth stage private equity fund. We invest in growth companies emanating from South Africa, also other parts of the continent as well, but very much with regional and global scalability and exposure. We also specialize very much in founder-run, owner-managed, and family-owned businesses, and that's why the story that we're here to share today is particularly relevant. We like to talk about local to regional and Africa to the world. Something that I'm actually very proud of, not only as we did this investment going on 5 years ago, but Sonari is now investing out of its second fund, 1.5 billion rand private equity fund. And one of the challenges was always wondering whether, as we grew, we were going to continue to find businesses as we have experienced with LightWare, where we really are seeing amazing innovation in South Africa, across the continent, that has this extraordinary growth and scale potential across the world. So, first of all, we came across this business. It is a bit of a cautionary tale for everyone in this room. I don't know how many people here have those overflowing inboxes, you know, your standard corporate inbox, which get filled with, inheritance spam, and, fund my startup, and may I have 50,000 Rand for equipment for my business. And we were very fortunate that at the time when Nadia's co-founder, James Portman, was looking to raise capital, and he did his research and he reached out via this corporate inbox, that we had a very diligent intern at the time, Khosi Dipakwane. So we give full credit to Khosi for filtering very diligently through the mass that sits in that inbox and raising this particular investment to our deal team. So we sat there in this deal forum, and we thought, that actually is very interesting. We also thought it sounded a little bit too good to be true, but off we went to Centurion. Okay, so a bit like our backyard from the Joburg side of things, and we stood outside this building, and we thought, I don't think world-leading technology is residing behind the other side of this wall. And boy, did I eat my words. So we went in, we met with James, then the founder and CEO of the business at the time, Nadia, who was at the time the COO and subsequently has succeeded James as the CEO of LightWare. And we'd never looked back. And there's a lot to tell, but I'm going to hand over and let Nadia tell a lot more of the story about why it is that we saw value in this business. But certainly as a starting point, the extraordinary experience and vision of this management team, they had not only been building this tech for about 8 years, I think, when we invested, but had also run a predecessor business, also on a global stage, also with the experience in this technology dating back a very long time. What is LiDAR? And why did we invest in LightWare? So, in a nutshell, it is the same as like your radar sonar type of technology, which effectively pings a signal out, and the signal hits an object and it bounces back, and you measure the time of flight, and that tells you the distance, and you're able to create a bit of a virtual map of what's around you. So this is the same thing, except we use lasers, and we fire out light impulses, and it bounces back, and you can map the things around you. And it sounds super simple, right? Except the light is traveling at the speed of light. In between all of these things, there's explosions happening, and the light signal comes out, and it comes back, and you've got to read this in precise terms. Basically, it's really cool stuff. Okay, so LiDAR became all the rage in the last few years because of driverless cars. There are these really big LiDAR companies that were set up predominantly in the US, big SPACs that were set up over the years. We don't play in that space. Okay, why? Super, super competitive space, that part of the market, and massively capital intensive. So what does LiDAR do, or LightWare do in this space? So LightWare has absolutely miniaturized the LiDAR. So we make the world's smallest and lightest LiDAR. It is used in applications like drones and robotics, IoT, smart cities, and the like. And the technology is differentiated in terms of applications where size, weight, power efficiency, and performance are critical for the applications that they're being used for. So we're very excited to share with you. I'm going to ask Nadia to now do basically the rest of the show and tell about our story and our journey together so far.
Thank you, Sam. Isn't it amazing when your investment partner speaks LiDAR so fluently? So let me start by showing you a product. This is the SF20C, and it's one of our flagship products. And the largest dimension on this thing is 30 millimeters, and it weighs a mere 7.8 grams, almost nothing. Yet, it has range capability of 100 meters in harsh conditions like the beautiful African sunshine we have outside today. And you might think, that's cute, but so what? What does this matter? In the area that we play with, it really is critical, because in the drone space, a lot of the drones are very small, they're very space constrained. But more importantly, every gram of weight reduces the revenue generating flying time of an unmanned aerial system. And they're not only lightweight and super compact, but they're also super power efficient. They run on less than 100 milliamp power when operating. And they are affordable, even when you buy one, which means that rapid adoption of this technology is really, really easy. So we believe that LiDAR is going to change the world in profound ways, and we envision a world where micro LiDAR is used everywhere. And, you know, Sam was talking about some of the applications, and in South Africa, we don't always have the exposure to these technologies. We think of them a little bit as science fiction, but I can assure you that they are absolutely a reality out in the world. Back in about 2018, 2019, we were having some very interesting conversations with the engineering teams of Amazon's delivery drone program and Google's delivery drone program, and we were doing development work for Lockheed Martin, one of the largest aerospace and technology companies in the world. And we even sold some sensors to NASA. I mean, we have LightWare sensors now in space measuring distance on robotic arms. And we realized that we have something spectacular here. I mean, these international companies were finding us through forums and word of mouth. In those days, we didn't even have a marketing and sales team. We had no marketing budget. And we also realized, as a bootstrapped company in South Africa, we absolutely needed to get funding so that we can seize these opportunities and we can service these giant customers and we can bring this homegrown technology to the world. And we've used that funding to get that marketing and sales team. We do international digital marketing. We attend international trade shows all over the world. We have established a US subsidiary to service our US customer base. We have expanded our engineering team to bring products to market faster. We have more than quadrupled our production capacity over the years. And yeah, it's been a journey. And you know, we've expanded the global presence, the customer base, and of course the revenue that goes with that. And I think the amazing thing that attracted us to Sonari was quite a few things actually. We like their philosophy, their 3S philosophy, sustainability, scalability, salability. It resonated with us. We love the team diversity. It resonated with our own worldviews. We very quickly established good alignment around the vision for the company and the business plans that we wanted to execute. And, you know, they were nice people. Ultimately, you know, matched values and mutual respect becomes really important, because ultimately this is a marriage. Because we're going to spend a lot of time together. We're going to debate and argue sometimes fiercely about things. They're going to be our business partners in good and in bad times. They're going to share our successes with us. They're going to be our support structure when things don't go our way or things get difficult. So really is a marriage, and it's been a good one. So let me talk a little bit about scaling a business. I can tell you it's hard, and it's a painful process, and you have to become very comfortable with change. Everything in your organization will need to be revised, and you need to do this in a controlled fashion as not to upset the entire apple cart in the process. You still need customers that want to be happy in that process. You need to revise your recruitment processes. As a bootstrapped company, you can't always afford the people you want. You have to accept the people that you can get. But as a scaling, well-funded company, you absolutely need the A team. And your recruitment processes need to support that. You need a communication strategy. What used to work will stop working. So how you used to communicate when you were 20 people will need to vastly change when you're 50 people or 100 people to ensure team alignment. Your systems will stop working for you. So we are actually implementing an ERP system as I speak. And I have the talent in the organization to be here talking to you while somebody else does that, which is just so cool. What else? Procedures and policies and processes become critically important to your business. As Sam mentioned, this is not our first rodeo, so we learned this in our previous company. A robust company-wide quality management system becomes absolutely critical. And you will change people, of course. We spoke about succession planning as early as I can remember. I think in 2014, James and I had a coffee date about me joining LightWare, and in that meeting already, he said to me he wants me to take over as CEO. And at that time, we were friends and business partners for 15 years already. So when the time came, which I think was about 2 years ago, for me to step up, I had 20 years of mentorship and exposure to all facets of the technology, the markets, the applications, and all business functions that made it super easy for me to transition into that role. I don't think everybody is that lucky in terms of succession planning. It's definitely was in our favor. And of course, mistakes are made along the way. Thinking back, I think the biggest mistakes, you need to fail so that you can get to the things of success. It's absolutely critical in business. You're going to make decisions where you don't have all the information, and you almost never have all the information. But not making the decisions is even worse. But I think the costly ones were probably getting the wrong people on board. Employment, for me, isn't a science. You need to collect as much information as you can, and then you need to make a decision. And sometimes it's not a good fit. And I think recognizing that as quickly as possible and taking action before it affects your business or your corporate culture is absolutely critical. And I think early on we really struggled with changing our mindset from being a bootstrapped company to now having funding and having to spend this funding. I remember I had heart palpitations the first time I had to sign employment contracts for really expensive employees. And also trade shows. Our trade shows are about 500,000 Rand each. It was hard, but Sam and her team were very quick in identifying the hiatus and gently but firmly shaking us out of that. And they've been not just investment partners, but really true business partners. They have They have challenged our thinking. They have challenged our assumptions, and I think that is so healthy. When you're running a business, you get bogged down in the details, and sometimes you don't see the forest for the trees. So that external view is helpful. They have massively improved our corporate governance across all levels of the organization and taught us along the way, which I think is just so valuable. And they've massively improved our ESG scorecard. We used to do no harm, but now we're doing actively good on the back of Sonari support. I'll mention one or two main points. We export about 95% of what we manufacture across the world. That is direct income to the South African economy. Our headcount has tripled over the years. That's all South African jobs. And we have a job experience program where new graduates come and get their first experience with us, and that sets them up for permanent employment, and we have a 71% success rate with that. But I think the most important impact that we have is through our technology and our customers, because ultimately we are an enabling technology. Our technology makes other people's technology work. And I wanted to show you some of the amazing things that our customers do. So please watch the video for just a moment. Thank you. They are absolutely the reason why we wake up in the mornings. Today we are the world leader in this type of LiDAR, and we provide thousands of units every month to the largest drone manufacturers across Europe and the North Americas. We continue to expand our product range. We're about to launch a 500-meter product. We're going to bring a multi-beam product to the market like the world has never seen before. And then we're moving into 3D mapping for industrial applications. So we will continue to bring this African technology to the world. And if you like what you heard today, please follow us on LinkedIn and follow our journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, a final round of applause, please, for Sam and Nadia.